Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Jersey Comic Crew, your favorite podcast for all things pop culture related, comic books, movies, TV shows, and especially Endgame.
That's right.
Now, as always, I'm Chris Heller, and with me is
Rob Moran. Thank you.
And our special guest today,
Paul Rudd.
Hey, Paul Rudd's here. He got a tan.
This is post plastic surgery.
Yes.
Paul Rudd.
So this is our big kind of Endgame reaction. Before we start, really quick. There will be spoilers for Endgame. If you haven't seen it by now, I mean, you just don't care that much. And number two, definitely check out the comment section below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and the description to know that, we're talking Endgame. So, two reasons we waited a little bit because, obviously, people have asked. I know have asked me, probably asked you too, where the hell is the Endgame review?
Yes.
Number one, we wanted to make sure that it was after Marvel's official leaks. We wanted to obey we wanted to make sure everyone got a chance to see it. As you know, Rob and I preach not spoiling anything a lot of the time. And number two, also, I was out of town for a bit, so we couldn't do it. And number three, we're also planning to do another show, Rob. Do you want to tell people about that one?
No.
We want it to be secret.
It's a surprise.
It's a huge surprise. So this is not the last we'll hear of Endgame, but we definitely wanted to do a reaction video and talk
I'm
about
really
it.
excited about the surprise.
I know.
I wanted to know this.
The surprise is great.
You don't know?
No, it's a surprise.
Oh,
you're having a baby, Rob?
No!
Rob's pregnant! Oh my god!
I am showing. No, we'll tell you the surprise off air.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, we can use terms like that.
We use terms off air. But yeah, so obviously Endgame hit, and it's the biggest movie ever made. It's
Second biggest movie.
at the moment second.
Second.
Will be the
now.
first. If I have anything to say about it, it will be the first. And number two, hands down, I've never seen anything like this put on film. It was 3 hours. It was a full 3-act play.
Yeah.
Every hour to me felt like a different chapter
It didn't even
in a
feel like
massive
3 hours.
comic event. It did not. I was fine. Did anyone have pee problems?
No, I think we handled that very well.
We did handle that well.
Yeah.
I purged myself the day before.
Yep.
Oh, you didn't drink any water. You didn't.
No, let me rephrase that. Of course I drank water. I'm not a freaking monster. I just drank water. Last time I drank water was like 4 hours before we saw it.
Okay.
I ate before. I was afraid I was going to have to go to the bathroom for something else.
Yeah.
And I was prepared to just soil myself there. I was prepared to be like,
We all
I'm
were.
sorry you're sitting next to me, but it's going down.
It's happening.
I went to the bathroom right in the previews.
That's the best way.
Because I've seen every fucking preview.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of part of our job, our hobby.
Yeah.
We watched them all.
Yeah. And
great.
so yeah, I think we ate, went to the bathroom early, then went during the previews.
We
I was
know.
fine. We definitely dehydrated ourselves.
We kind of had the VIP treatment a little bit.
Yes,
IMAX
we kind of
people.
did.
I kind of felt good.
So we went to IMAX. We saw it in IMAX 2D because 3D hurts my eyes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And we went to IMAX and we saw it. We were like dead center.
Yeah, it was really good. Good
Because we
seating.
bought like really good seats, and the seats were really big in IMAX. So they were like recliners too. So we had like a lot of room, but it was awesome. Like it wasn't like, oh, this is IMAX and the seating is small, so it's a small theater.
Yeah.
It was still a huge theater. Like
Still
we
a
still had
huge
a
theater.
huge crowd.
Yeah.
A sellout crowd. So it was great.
Where'd you go? New York?
Yeah, we went to the city.
Same.
Yeah.
I feel like these ones, they're like, it's worth it going to the city, taking the money to drive up there or like take a path or bus up there.
Mm-hmm.
And you have, like you said, it's much bigger theater.
Yeah.
You're going to have a whole
You're
different
going for the
experience.
experience, man.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's
Going
what
for
it
the
is.
experience.
Yeah.
The movie theater experience is
Like a
so
movie-
important.
A movie 22 years in 22 movies, not 22 years.
Yeah.
22
Feels like
movies in the
22
making. You had to experience it in the way that kind of like as fans are watching sports, like
Yes.
a sporting
Yes.
event. So
100%. We like you put a post up about that.
Yeah,
yesterday.
it's event
Yeah.
movies now. It's not longer like, oh, we go watch it for a movie.
we're
It's
gonna
like,
talk about that then, I guess.
yeah, we will.
Oh yeah, and we so obviously our first reactions. The first time definitely seeing it, it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it's a spectacle. It's a lot to take in.
I couldn't stand it.
You thought it was a terrible movie,
you
didn't
know
you?
what? You know what? A movie like this shouldn't work at all. Like
No, it has
I
no
like
business
a
working.
big
What do you
su-
mean by it shouldn't work?
A big summer blockbuster that's 3 hours long and has a talking raccoon and time travel as its main plot device.
Yep.
Okay.
And you shouldn't be this invested in the characters, especially when there's a gigantic green one walking around talking
Yes.
about how small people are and giving away tacos to people.
That was so nice.
Yeah.
Great tacos.
But it all works, and
It does.
you're all invested in it, and you really care about the ending and the end product and the storyline. And And man, look, that ending.
Yeah.
This movie only works because of the 22 movies that's set up before it.
100%.
Or even if
Right.
you cut them down to 10 and do more of the crucial ones. Sure. Like, this only works because we have already have the investment in characters. We already know who these characters are, who they are to their core, and we could actually just continue on with the story.
Yeah.
This is something that we haven't seen ever before because of that.
And I'm trying to think of, like, you always say you see something almost for the first time and it's so big and spectacular and you're saying there's no way anyone could ever do this again. I think it could be done again, but not in this way. Not in the way that we just saw. Not in the same factions and the same tropes and the same investment time, because it's the first time it's been done. Even obviously we know Marvel has plans forever.
Yeah.
Even in this next phase and what they're going to start post Spider-Man Far From Home, that even if they do it again, let's say it's with Galactus or Doctor Doom, whatever, it's still like they would have to still do it differently because it has to be something we've never seen before. And I'm almost like, what do we have? Like, the only movie
How are
that
you going to top it?
Exactly, the only movie that could possibly even go against it, and I don't think there's any way it's going to be able to top this too, is Episode 9.
Right.
And that's the only way it could actually almost have that feeling of like, wow, like this is the end of a culmination of movies that started, well, in their case 40 years ago, but it's not going to have that. It's not going to be as big. It's not going to be as the ensemble cast.
Right.
It's
I don't
not
think
gonna have
Episode
that.
9 is going to be as big as Episode 7 or anywhere close to it.
Oh, it'll be bigger than Episode 7
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think opening weekend is going to touch number 7
because of Episode 8.
because of Episode 8 and all the almost Star Wars fatigue that some people are going through.
People are going to go see Episode 9 regardless.
I mean, I agree with
Yeah.
you, but
I don't think it's going to be able to eclipse what Endgame has just produced. It's made over $2 billion in 2.5 weeks.
I don't even think you could compare Episode 9 to Endgame.
No,
I think
I'm
it's
not.
in a whole
I'm
different
saying
world.
the end of Star Wars itself
Okay.
is the only thing that can match a culmination, like the way that Endgame is a culmination. But Endgame is so much is on such a bigger scale. There's no way it's going to be able to touch it. I'm saying Endgame itself has just done something that I don't think any of us. Like, we all kind of were like, oh my god, Endgame. Like, remember when Infinity War ended and we were like, oh my god, like, now we have to wait a year?
Yeah.
How fast did that year go by?
It went fast.
Like, Captain Marvel was out like this. Endgame was here like this. Like, it was
My
not...
tears were like this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was here, it happened, and it's the effects of it are going to last way after this movie's over.
Yes. Well, 5 years. 5 years.
5 years.
Snap.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I thought in the beginning, I was confused on how it worked when it came out, right?
Okay.
So, like, we had the 5-year jump. So, technically for them, it's 2023.
Yes.
2023. I think the way it is explained the easiest is when you look at the end, right? And the focal point for me was Scott Lang's daughter, Cassie.
Okay.
Well,
Because you could actually
that was
see
a
the
great.
difference.
That was a great way to show like how much time has passed.
Yes.
That was the perfect way to show that.
And I think once you see her at her older age and everyone that... So, in my mind, and I think a lot of people will agree, when Hulk snaps, that's what brings everyone back.
Yes.
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 So let me ask you a question with that.
Yeah.
Actually, so this question was actually brought to me by a friend, Sully, and I had a hard time answering this, and I want to bring it to your attention for you guys and try to understand. So when Hulk does the snap,
Yeah.
brings everybody back, right? And it's in the world. It's 5 years later. Like how bringing them all back is going to create problems that they can't solve. So like think
Yes.
of like
Population distribution.
think of it like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
like people from the basic level of like people disappearing in the sky.
Yeah.
They come back. Are they in the sky? They just fall. Or are they
Yep.
on the ground?
Right. Or the fact that Spider-Man was disappeared on a different planet.
On a different planet.
How did he get back?
How did he get back? Well,
Well,
Doctor Strange.
Well, Doctor
Doctor
Strange
Strange.
time
I-
portaled
yeah.
everybody.
we count him, right? But then you have people
Well,
like
but you're right. Like
your house is gone.
Yeah.
It's sold and somebody else has it. Like what
or-
happens there?
And
Yeah.
The end credits of Infinity War. People are in the airplanes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like you were saying before.
Are you back in a plane? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And then
think-
like
Are you skydiving? Are you back skydiving?
like your friends, your relationships are ruined. So like let's say like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
disappear and then 5 years I see you guys and it's a whole different
Well-
status quo.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's repercussions to what Thanos did.
Your
Yes.
wife
Yeah.
remarried to somebody else.
But
like,
I think
happens?
that's part of that first hour of Endgame, where we start off right after Infinity War.
Okay.
And it's not pedal to the metal. It's
by the way,
we are really dealing with this shit. And this is stuff that's like going on. Like, what is we can't fix this.
Marvel is doing a great job with their trailer, like rendering. By the way, because we didn't see Robert Downey Jr. that sickly.
Ooh, we
and
did
the whole
not.
And the whole trailers, we see whatchamacall. We don't see the Hulk.
No.
We just see Mark Ruffalo.
Yes.
And we don't see any Mark Ruffalo in this film.
No,
we just
barely.
We see Doc Green pretty much.
We see Doc Green.
Doc
Yeah,
Green,
Professor
pretty much.
Hulk.
but like I think to answer your question, I think it's two things. One, it's not like at the end of the day, the snap cannot undo things the way it broke them.
Okay.
The way Thanos broke them. Like
Which makes
Thanos' purpose after the last 10 years was to do this thing. Regardless with the time jumping and stuff, he still did that thing because nothing's the same afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Spider-Man trailer is anything to look at, multiverse and possible, alternate universes. They mentioned 616.
Mm-hmm.
They are opening the Marvel universe into a multiverse. That could be a repercussion, as well as, hey, like these people are back. Who the hell's in my house?
Yeah.
Like these people are back. Why is my best friend 5 years older than me? I think with the snap, when Thanos snapped, it wasn't people just dying. You just stopped existing.
Yeah.
You cease to exist. You don't exist in reality. Like you just don't exist anymore. So when Hulk
So like the
brought
history
them
of
back,
them disappeared.
not the history, just that's where they stopped.
Yeah.
They just stopped existing. Like
Okay, I'm
if
with
you
you.
read a book halfway and stop and you don't know what the ending
Yeah.
is. When they came back, when Hulk snaps everybody back, to me that is you are starting from where you left
Yeah.
off.
The worst-
That's the age explanation to me, which is why like Cassie survived. She's 5 years older than everyone else. Everyone who came back. That's why Peter and his friends are the same age.
Yeah, because it all disappeared together.
Exactly. So, which is easy to do.
Yeah,
for the movie.
I was like, really? They all
It'd be great if
disappeared?
Ned's like 40.
Yeah, Ned should be a grown ass man right now, but okay.
But like, so like everyone coming back, you're coming back from the point you left.
Yeah.
That's why you're this age, even though it's a different year, because you haven't existed in this time. So that's the way I explain it. I can't explain like, hey, are you coming back and you're like supposed to be in a plane? That like,
my
I
explanation
don't
to
think
that-
so. It would to me, it'd be like Hulk in his mind, because when Hulk talks about like, hey, I really tried to
Safely.
bring Nat
Yeah,
back.
safely.
Everyone safely
Exactly.
comes back.
All right,
come back
they're
and
just
they're
on the
all-
ground of where they would be.
Exactly.
Which is sad he couldn't bring her back.
Which is.
Yes.
But yeah, so what do you think about that, the Nat thing? Because we had
Nat thing?
we had a similar view of this.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Yeah, you know what the problem was? It was fitting for her, but I just didn't emotionally. It just didn't. hit
Same.
me.
It didn't hit me either.
And the reason why, because we saw
We've seen it before.
We saw it in the prior movie. We
Yes.
saw how you retrieve the Soul Stone, right? I mean, it was a great scene. I mean, because with her and Hawkeye, and they're both like not one and the same, but they're both like freaking frack. They're
Yeah,
frickin'
yeah.
frack,
two sides of the
essentially.
same coin.
Freaking frack, and you see how they both are willing to give up themselves.
Yeah.
For this, and the fight that transpires, like, okay, this is perfect, and
When I was watching that scene, so I understand why you say that. Like, it's almost like we see it coming, we know what's happening. But like when I was watching it, the whole back and forth,
yeah,
I
it
can
was good.
honestly say, like I audibly was like, I can't take this anymore. But like I don't know who's leaving, right? Because I could easily see be either one of those.
Yeah.
And for most of the time, I was like, all right, it has to be Hawkeye because one, everybody since Avengers 1 joked about getting rid of him, and two, we kind of know that Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow's getting a movie.
Yeah.
We know it's going to be a prequel, but I'm like, okay, she's going to be in another movie. Okay. So it's probably going to be him and them going back and forth. I generally enjoy that, even as a fan who knew the behind-the-scenes stuff. They still had me guessing.
Yeah, I mean, it's also probably Jeremy Renner's best performance in Avengers.
Yeah.
It's about
It was good.
His best performance as Hawkeye.
He was good in
that
this
scene.
movie.
And, as a person, as an actor who's been kind of like overlooked in a lot of these films.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, and who hasn't been, and possibly miscasted for a guy who was.
You think he's been miscasted?
I don't think this role plays to his talents.
I can
as an
see that.
actor.
Yeah,
And I think
I can see that.
the overall character of Hawkeye hasn't been like well done in this Marvel
It
universe.
hasn't.
And has been misused.
Which is to me why they're giving him a Disney Plus show,
Right.
Okay.
And they're gonna move on to Kate Kane. Sorry, not Kate Kane, Kate Bishop.
But to your point, I think the redemption arc. There's a lot of redemption. This movie's about redemptions.
Yes.
And I think
Full circle.
Right.
Thor, big redemption arc.
Yes. These movies are about family. The family that you create and the family that you have. Black Widow's family was the Avengers.
Yeah.
And she sacrificed herself for the Avengers.
Yep.
Hawkeye's family he still can get his family back.
Yeah.
And he still can be the man he once was.
And that's why
they kept him.
Yep.
Even though, despite the fact that fans wanted him dead. And which is pretty obvious. Like,
Yeah,
and it's not like they don't know that.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
get that.
That's why I
But,
thought they were going to do that.
Right.
I think for me, when I was watching that scene, again, it was back and forth. Like, you don't know who's going until they're kind of like hanging off the cliff. But I think for me, it was like, oh, it's going to be Scarlet because Hawkeye has this show coming up. Like,
Well, but you know what? It also
like
was,
this rumored show
You know-
to me is like, oh, like crap, he's gonna survive because
For me,
he's gonna
I
be
thought,
in a-
like,
you make the
it
same
could've
argument that Black Widow movie though.
Exactly,
but,
yeah.
true, but I think we all knew it was a prequel.
I didn't know that. But more.
I mean, I
we
thought
knew,
it was
we
a
knew
prequel.
Black Widow was a prequel. Hawkeye, I just assumed was a prequel.
right.
Well, the fact that they were talking about Kate Bishop and passing the mantle to me,
Okay,
that's
right.
like, oh, it has to be
Yeah.
a sequel.
Right.
So that's the only thing that kind of gave that away, in a sense of just like, hey, oh crap, like this might happen because of this.
They gotta start making movie announcements and show announcements. Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But like either way, I thought like again, yeah, we did see it with Gamora. That was more of the heartfelt, heartbreaking one. This one was kind of way more like quick and like, hey, boom, boom, boom. We're gonna fight each other and try and
Right.
stop each other.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. And I wasn't as emotionally invested in the Black Widow death as I was in the Gamora death.
Right, and you would want
Fair
that,
enough, fair
especially out of the original six member.
Yes.
You would
Yeah.
want something a little bit more. But the only thing that bothered me was like, man, she doesn't get to be at the end scene.
Yes,
Yeah.
She would've
we
been
will mention
useless.
that. No, the scene. So we're talking about the scene where there's a lot of. there's a lot of-
Let's wait.
Wait.
We'll wait for it.
I know what you're talking about.
But,
the female scene.
yes.
We could just say that.
So all right. So again, I think the biggest point of this movie for me, and a lot of people are two things.
Thor yelling at New Master 69.
No, but
like that.
Thor's
Look at that
character,
guy.
but Thor's character arc in general, going from in the beginning to killing Thanos quickly.
Wow. Yeah, that shocked me. I couldn't believe that.
Once he did that, I was like, oh, they're doing time travel.
These movies they've killed Thanos 3 times.
Yeah.
They've shown the death of Thanos 3 times.
Yeah.
The reality on Nowhere, whatchamacall,
Okay, yes.
what we just saw
Yep.
in Endgame.
And then the
and
third
then the
time.
final, the
Final
snap.
one. And also potentially when Thor at Wakanda. That wasn't death, but that was pretty much like
I was close
Almost.
to that.
almost a kill shot.
But
One for the head.
so like Thor's character arc in general,
Oh, no,
obviously
that sucks.
obviously hilarious. Love the heartfelt moment with him and his mother
That was
when they
nice.
go through time.
Got to give them credit for going back in time for Dark World, probably the most hated Marvel film.
Legit.
Yeah.
and it's basically like now you have to watch it if you want the full story, you dicks.
That was a Marcus McFeely.
Yes.
They wrote that like, you have to watch this.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So good for them for doing because that's where you get the ether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Rocket chasing after Jane Foster with the
So-
giant dagger
That was so
was
cool.
great.
So what's interesting about that is they got her back. Was that
Yes.
old scenes or they actually got her back?
no,
think they got it back.
she's credited in the
She's
movie.
credit. So she
Yeah.
gets to do 6 seconds and gets paid.
What a lovely world.
Yeah, right?
But so again, we
I
have
wish I
Thor's
could do 6 seconds.
Thor's arc. I've had a lot of conflicting views. What did you think about Thor throughout this movie in the end?
So you're asking me, what specifically?
So I
Like, just
personally,
like-
so I'll give you.
I have thoughts on
So I personally thought. So first of all, when we get the beginning of the final battle,
Okay.
and it's Thor, Cap, and Iron Man, the big three.
Which
I
is
never
nice.
realized that's literally all I want in life to see.
Such a great moment.
It's the big three going at it is against Thanos. So when Thor calls down Storm Chaser and Mjolnir at the same time, and he gets his in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is where he's not going to be fat anymore. This is where he's going to
So-
the magic is so because he has 2 hammers. This is where he's going to be back
And it's
to
just
normal
gonna
Thor.
shock it all off.
Basically, like it was gonna be like a stimulant that like just shakes the fat off or something, like an old school fat camp.
I
With those
mean-
rubber band
like
shits.
heavyweights?
Yes, like heavyweights, where like a rubber band fat shocks them.
I thought so too.
I thought that was going to be the scene where it was like, okay, now he's not fat. Let's go fucking kick some ass.
Okay, so there's multiple thoughts on this. Some people would say it's a joke gone too far, but I was thinking about this. Thor has lost his mother, his father,
His home?
his home. No, about 75% of the population of Asgard.
Yeah, because you're talking 50 and then 50 again. Yeah.
About 75% of the population of Asgard. He had to move them, and then he almost had the kill shot on Thanos.
And he missed.
He missed.
Yes. Well,
So
he got it
and
back.
and
He got that back.
Well, yeah, but still.
And then he lost 5 years.
Yes.
Right?
Brooding and eating bread.
Anyone who was gone, and it was hinted in Infinity War, this man has been through, this God has been through way too much.
Yeah.
And in the Disney form or fashion they can show, he's going through depression. He's
Yeah.
going through anxiety. He's
Yeah.
going through, like, the worst feelings in
He's
the world.
filling the void with
Yeah.
things that escapism. Like
yeah.
he's playing video games
So
all day.
what happens?
And,
What happens when
yeah.
when the person who's supposed to be the
Mm-hmm.
heroic godlike figure doesn't live up to that and has to see the repercussions of his failures?
I agree.
He goes through that, and I'm like, that's a realistic take on it. I mean, we
It is.
we make fun of the jokes, and it's great because he looks fat and he's hilarious.
Yeah.
But, like,
And you can still tell how ripped he is underneath the
and
fat
you see,
suit.
and you see the beard.
Yes.
And you see how his mom says, "Please eat a salad."
Eat a salad. Like eat a salad though.
But like, no, that's a realistic version of how
Yeah.
things would go,
And
and I kind of accepted it. I'm like, okay, this
So the
makes sense.
comments on what you were saying, what you're both saying about Thor. When I initially watched the movie for the first time, when he grabbed both of them, I did want that. I did want him to be shredded. Like, all right, cool, it's all gone, and then you could go fight and be a badass. He still was
And all
a
the women's
badass.
drop eggs in the theater when it happens.
But
Yes.
going on my second viewing and looking at it, I thought a lot about what you were saying. So like, on him and his whole arc, he went through depression. He's escapism, playing video games. He lost everything. For him to get both of the weapons, right? That was the beginning of his redemption arc. I feel like if he would have got skinny right away, I think it would have been too quick of a resolve because that physically shows that he's okay.
Yeah.
So the fact that he still was fat but he's stronger shows that he's getting better.
So,
but he's
yeah.
not fully okay yet.
So you're saying the physical aspect is also relative to the mental state
Right,
he's
it's
in.
like,
Correct. It's a direct correlation.
Representation of like his mental, like, and emotional.
And yeah,
right.
yeah.
But
I'm sure as Guardians of the Galaxy 3, he's going to be ripped
he
again.
used it before me.
I know. I had to.
I think we should go more.
Fucking dick kid on the playground.
But, like, I want to talk more about the deconstructing of these characters the Russos
Go ahead.
doing the Marcus.
100%.
Do, and it's really good.
It's amazing.
We think of Thor and Chris Hemsworth as this godly like character.
We think of Chris Hemsworth as a fucking god in general.
They said, you know, we're gonna turn that shit on his fucking head. He's more than that,
And that's
like, he's going through that. He's going through. He's like, especially through Thor Ragnarok, we actually see how he's a great comedic actor.
Yes.
And he doesn't need to be all physical here, right?
Yes.
He can get by on his talents and wit and his humor,
And his charm.
his humor.
And I will say this: the scene in Endgame where he is where they're breaking down like almost like the heist film style, right? Where like everyone's gonna get like everyone's getting like this, where are you going to get stones? Where are you going to get stones? When they ask Thor to talk about the ether, and he's like going off into like, yes, me and her dated for a while, and it's fine. It's like that to me was covering the depression with.
Yes. By the way,
As my dog attacks Ed.
Mike, what are you doing? You're supposed to wrangle the dog.
As like he's talking about, hey, we dated for a while, and yes, and it's fine now, and I don't see it. We don't talk, whatever.
Lost Jane.
That
Jane too.
is to me someone who's very depressed,
Oh yeah.
covering his pain with humor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I thought that to me was the most powerful scene for Thor, as far as like, oh, I can really tell what's going
It's
on.
a very subtle but powerful.
It
But
is,
think
and
about
it
that,
gets a
right?
laugh, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I get it.
But
Like I totally get
Look at
this.
this godlike character falling into the same things that every normal person goes through.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
To
It's
further your
susceptible to the same things we all go through.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But the further your point about
But
the
you
Russo
did.
brother, I did. I said I was sorry. You should have done that. The further your point about the Russo brothers deconstructing the characters, turning them on the head, the opposite of that would be looking at Hulk, right? So Hulk before this
Very
movie
good. Well done.
was just a raged monster, right? We saw he was a man trapped inside this monster. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, very well, right?
Yes.
And in this movie, we see that character come full circle, if you will, for this movie. We see him becoming one with the monster, controlling it, becoming who he's supposed to be. He was on the downswing and now he's on the upswing, right? He
I have a
controls
quibble.
it both.
Quibble. they
quibble for you.
They didn't address Hulk drawn within.
Yes.
For the past.
They did not.
They did not address that.
Say again?
So we see Hulk in the first scene of Infinity War and pretty much gets his ass whooped, and then he doesn't want to come back out.
Yes.
They never addressed that in this film.
They did not address how they made reconciled the
how they
differences.
They basically said
They talk about how he
they did it quickly.
He talking about how he overcomes it, but they never talked about why the Hulk was so scared.
Yeah, exactly. And they basically did like Hulk, like Ruffalo was like, oh yeah, I made peace with it, and this is how we are, and blah blah blah. But it wasn't a full reconciliation piece.
I don't think they had the time.
And
Oh,
and from a superficial sense, also.
Yeah.
Whedon did a good job of using the Hulk in battle.
Yes.
An amazing job. Probably one of the few things he does better than the Russos.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, was using the Hulk,
Russos-
like punching Thor in Avengers 1.
We didn't really get Hulk going crazy in this film.
No. Because he was Banner. And like he's like, oh, the shirt has to come off. Like, it's just so kind of tacky.
That's great.
Yeah.
But
He's just a strong man.
But in the final battle, I kind of want to see the Battle of New York Hulk.
I want to see Hulk
Right?
beating the.
I'm
like,
with you.
I wanted Hulk's revenge on Thanos for what he did to him in Infinity War, and we never got that. But again, that's hearsay because I got the big three.
Right.
But at the same
We
time,
don't need something huge. We don't need like a 2-minute fight here. We're looking at 15 to 20 seconds.
Exactly.
Of Hulk and Thanos fighting each other.
Like a little brawl again,
then
and
a little
him
brawl.
coming out on top.
yeah,
That would've
with
been nice.
Banner's mind, so he's a little more tactical with the fighting.
Right.
I would have liked that as well. I think they have an interesting problem with the Hulk still.
Which is?
So they went the opposite direction, right? Instead of just making like we gotta make the Hulk cooler and bigger and fight more shit. Now they're going the other way. They're going Doc Hulk.
Right. So they destroyed my whole theory of what they're going to do with the Hulk.
With Grey Hulk and all that.
I thought they were going to go totally awesome Hulk.
Oh.
Amadeus Chow.
Oh.
I'm kind of glad they didn't go Amadeus.
I thought they were going to do that.
Well, here's the thing. We can still get Hulk as we know it after this movie. Because of the snap and he's recovering, that recovering and that effect of him they could write it so they're like, all right, that messed up his brain.
I don't think they want to go backwards in that sense.
I don't want to go backwards.
I don't think they want to.
I think we get She-Hulk before we get Amadeus Chow.
Yeah.
I think She-Hulk is the next step.
That's where they go now.
She's in Avengers right now in the comics.
You think they're going to introduce her?
I think they might do it in TV. Disney Plus, you could throw her in.
She's gonna
somewhere.
be the Ally McBeal.
Like not even as She-Hulk. Like you could just put Jen Walters in
Ally McBeal
a show.
reference.
Okay.
And like, oh, I'm Bruce Banner's cousin. I'm a lawyer, and oh shit, like Jen Walters. That's she.
Dude, let's talk Downey to me.
Oh, let's Downey
Downey. You want to talk Evans or Downey to me? What do you want to do first?
Let's do Downey
Evans.
first. I want to save
Downey
Evans. Yeah.
You want to save Evans?
Yeah.
I'd rather save Downey.
I'd rather save Evans for last.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Because I think I know personally, Evan's big moment is just happy, and I want to end her on a happier note.
All right.
That's actually pretty good. That's pretty good.
So I would say the first shot of Downey and Tony, the dehydration, the lack of nutrition, the fact that he was drawn.
How sick he was.
I thought that was amazing.
Great monologue, by the way.
Yeah.
Explain this film like part of the journey is the end.
Yep.
Foreshadowing. Great job.
Basically foreshadowing in the beginning, bringing him back to Earth. I thought the first I was almost crying the second he gets back to Earth because he's Cap is the first one there. Even like again, they are not okay.
Yeah.
Cap, he's stumbling out of this. Cap is the first one to grab him and be like, Tony, like, you know, and Tony's just like, I couldn't save the kid. Like, I couldn't stop him. Like, almost telling Cap, like you're the person that my dad looked up to, therefore I looked up to you because I wanted my dad's approval. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you this because I am sorry to you that I couldn't live up to what you thought I could be. And the fact that, like, Chris Evans literally goes back to him and goes, I couldn't stop him either.
Yeah, they both feel responsible because they both lost their fight.
There's anger though in there, right?
Yeah,
because we see Robert Downey Jr. does probably one of the best acting performers in the movie when he loses his mind and you see how he just
passes out of exhaustion. Yeah,
and just angry like you left us.
Yes,
you forgot about us. Like where were you?
Yeah.
Like if you would have listened to me when I told you when I had these visions,
and that was
pseudo armor around the world, and we probably could have defended this.
The great debate they have with each other.
Yes.
So what we're gonna fight this guy and we're gonna lose together, huh?
Yeah.
Well, let's say we'll lose too, right?
Yeah.
And whatchamacall, we're the Avengers, not the pre-Avengers, right?
Yes, that was
we
great.
failed. Like, what's the whole point of our mission if we can't?
We gotta fail once.
We can't do it.
Fail.
I thought that was
Can't
great, and I
prevent
thought
I think that's sorry to cut you off, but
Yeah.
I do agree. That's probably one of the most powerful scenes within the whole movie.
'Cause
100%.
He's basically losing his mind, and you see how he's debilitated.
he's also afraid. Like he's legit. Like
Yeah.
Tony has never been afraid of anything. He jokes his way out of it.
He
He
takes
beats
off his
stuff up.
chest.
When he
and-
took off his heart, I was like, he dies right now. Oh, I can't believe
and
it
this-
already.
this
He's
hap-
dead.
And this is happening in the first 15, 20
Yeah.
minutes.
Yep.
Of it's like pretty strong.
And he's like,
stuff.
"Here, take it." Blah blah blah. I don't. He gives it to him like the way he took Cap's shield.
Yeah.
I thought Robert Downey Jr. got obviously the most time out of any of them.
Oh, yeah.
Deservedly so.
Mm-hmm.
Tony had a lot of screen time, which I wanted because I think we all could kind of tell. Obviously, spoilers for everything. Tony was on his way out.
Question for you two. How did you feel about him having a daughter?
I loved it.
So I have something to add to this.
Go ahead.
So I talked about this film movies about the family that you have and
Yep.
dealing with that, and
Yep.
the family that you create, right? So Tony, the arc of Tony Stark has been always been selfish, going towards selfless, and in this movie he gets his happy ending.
He does.
For 5 years he gets to be with Pepper, and he gets what's his daughter's name? Morgan, and he has that happy ending. He's good.
And no stress of fighting anybody
No
for
stress.
5
And
years,
no-
I guess.
But
Yeah.
then,
Perfect world is, there's resources.
Living on a lake.
but shout out to Yinsen, by the way, in Iron Man 1, where
Yes.
6 months out in that cave,
Yes.
he comes out a totally different human being.
Yes.
Like a person who was totally selfish, all self-involved, narcissistic, and still elements of that, right? But he comes
Judy,
out,
was it billionaire playboy philanthropist,
Yeah.
genius philanthropist?
yeah. He comes out because this man sacrificed himself so that Tony Stark,
Yes.
this guy who's possibly responsible for the deaths of his
Like he's put himself here because of what he does.
He's
Yep.
kind of responsible deaths of the guy you're saving right now.
Yep.
Comes out and saying, "Hey, you can be a better person. You can." So he dedicates his whole life to being a better person,
He does.
the best way he can,
Yeah.
best way he can, right? And you see, he's like, even though he has everything's good. He still's like, there's something.
I
can't
love.
rest.
Something's missing.
I can't rest.
I-
I can't rest.
I love
And-
that, yep.
And the guilt of, I have what I have.
And,
but
yep.
But they lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's Peter.
And if there's a chance
Yep.
that I can get them back.
And it's Peter.
Right.
And he has the picture that he's
Son-
doing
the
dishes.
son that he never had.
Yep.
Right?
And it's Peter, and it's almost. And at one point, I was like, "Oh my God, he's gonna have to choose between Peter and his actual daughter."
Right.
Like that's
Yeah, I was-
basically
I
that's
thought
the basis
that-
of it.
right, right.
And it's not only that, but the fact that they came to him and after one of the
was
I
a
will
great
tell you the
moment.
bright light in this movie is Ant-Man. This
is
is
so-
a
I was
down and depressing noir type feel in the beginning.
Right.
And Ant-Man is that blip of light that they need.
Well, he's also
Which they did tastefully, and they didn't overpower
Oh, it's
it.
amazing. But the fact that he goes and he's like, "Hey, I know this is crazy, but I kind of figured out time travel by this and this. Like I've been in the quantum realm for 5 years, but it's felt like 5 hours." And Tony's like you see the oh shit moment of I know what you're talking about, and then he kind of ignores it, and he's like, "I'm not doing this again. Like if you guys can stay for dinner if we're not going to talk business."
Yeah.
And again that night, he puts his daughter to bed and he just goes to work, and
And you see Pepper talking, we have it really good, Tony. We
Yes.
are really lucky.
Yes.
And you see yep.
but
And he
not
ju-
good
he
enough.
just-
It's
he
not-
just-
it's not
And
enough.
he just can't let it.
And
she
he can't
knows
let it go.
that.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
she was like,
the
"You're not-
acting
this
is
isn't
so
gonna be
good.
enough."
You can see that
Yes.
she's saying this, but realizing at the same time he can't let this.
They
go.
play well off each other
Yeah.
very well. I
Yeah.
mean, you would expect that after 3 movies, and more
More.
than that.
Yeah.
More than that.
5.
Um,
But yeah, I think that aspect of
back to Paul Rudd.
yeah, go for it.
No, I think he's perfect because he serves as an audience in a way.
Yeah.
And what the Russos do so well is especially with his plot device.
He's the viewpoint character.
viewpoint.
Yeah.
There's a lot of self-referential stuff going on in this film, right? We're talking about time travel, and they talk about movies with time travel, Back to
Yeah,
we're
like,
doing Back
you
to
mean
the
we're doing
Future?
Back to the Future? He's
You're
like, well, kind of, but you know.
I mean, when you really think about it, the time travel rules here are just DBZ.
are they?
Yeah. You
That's
go back
the
in
problem,
time.
Oh,
It's-
you go
it's the
back in
same.
time and
then you create a divergent timeline. Doesn't mess with your own original timeline. That's
Okay,
the same world.
that's what it is, right?
or a hyperbolic time chamber thing where everyone's you go in there and it's
A hyperbolic time chamber is more like the quantum realm. if
that's
you
what I'm saying.
equate that,
It's like you're
I
in
was
there
like,
for
yeah.
a while and then you come out and it's the
Right.
same.
But it's
Um,
reverse.
Yeah, but it's reverse. But so I will say, like, I thought I was like, how are they going to get Ant-Man kind of like this to be like the light hero of this film?
And they do a great job, man.
Did a great job.
Because he's looking up to these characters.
And like he's literally like Mr. Captain America.
That's America's ass.
I thought that
was such a great line. That is America's ass.
America's ass. I thought one of the funniest scenes was Rhodey coming in while he's eating his taco, and the whole taco gets blown out of the shell, and then Hulk gives him the taco, which is really sweet.
Yeah,
I thought
like,
that was funny.
Be careful, there's an idiot out here with a taco.
I do have a question for you guys though.
Okay.
One character I thought they added, and then I don't want to say rush, but it was an odd feel. Captain Marvel.
I want to get back to.
Hold on,
I have thoughts on that, but I want to get back to. But that's a good point.
Yeah,
I'm going to finish Iron Man before we get.
Oh,
to
okay.
that.
So all right. So
because
let's,
Iron Man's are we get to.
You're right.
Right.
When they did go back in time, when Iron Man went back in time and they did the time heist, and they had to go back again to get more of the Pym particles and everything else.
That scene alone of just, do you
See-
trust me? Like him and Steve.
Yes.
That
About,
was
and he's
great.
like, I
That
do. That to me was like, that's all
Especially
I want.
after screwing up. They
Correct.
screw
Yeah.
up.
They both messed up.
They both mess up back
Badly.
in time. Terrible. And which creates Loki having probably a spin-off because he gets the Tesseract and gets to get out of it.
He
Well,
might
he's
be okay.
he's got a show,
Yeah,
so
sure.
he's got Disney Plus show.
Right.
So
He
that
might be alive. We don't know.
Might be alive.
Well played. And
But
but
go-
that scene you talk about,
Yes.
like when you finally get the Tony and Cap reconciliation
Yes.
that we all wanted, right? And we
Yep.
did that.
But more so, it's more with Tony and his own father.
100%.
Like
Right.
him actually meeting his father again, like knowing everything and getting to express some of the emotions and like having that final goodbye, essentially.
Right.
I love that scene so much.
He's-
Like that is something that people like everywhere, like every people who had like issues with their dad or whatever. How many people wouldn't like want to do that?
To have that.
Yeah.
He has
That's
he has
so
the
cool.
moment that so many people who don't have that relationship with their father have.
Yes.
Yep.
He gets to create it.
And you know, like you ever have like you have like an older like an uncle or a sibling that's like like, oh, I wish I had that with my old
Yeah,
man
yeah.
type. They
Yeah.
can tell you some story
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
like I never got to like
Right.
really realize what
He
was
got to
going
live
on.
that out. He had to
He
get
got
that-
to live that out, and he did it in a way where it was so fitting to him. Where like
It wasn't this cheesy thing. I thought
it wasn't. They didn't push the envelope or anything.
It's so cheesy. Like, Dad, I love you. I'm like,
Yeah.
Dad. I'm like, oh, yo, I just not my dad. I mean, this. I'm like,
Yeah,
and
that was
they,
fun.
they did it in a way and was
It was
tactful.
very- it was very
just,
Tony.
Oh, I have a daughter.
Yeah,
And like he's trying to tell his dad, like, you have a granddaughter. Like,
Yes.
it's like in a way that
Yeah.
It was great.
At least he gets to say that I have a daughter.
A
Like
daughter
in
and-
some way he gets that closure.
right.
Yep.
And then, earlier when Tony gave the shield to Cap, like direct homage, like his father giving
Yeah.
the shield to Cap, I thought that was a nice little
That was great.
simile between the two.
100%.
We got to see Jarvis.
We got to see Jarvis. We got to see
Yes.
Jarvis as a human, who is
Yeah.
the actor from the Agent Carter TV series,
yeah.
who played Jarvis, which was awesome.
Yeah.
The Jarvis thing I thought was a great touch of just putting him in there, and
It was quick.
and it was a great
Perfect.
fan service like cohesiveness.
It made sense. Because,
Also, Tony seeing Jarvis not as a computer and just being like, oh,
no, Jarvis was the butler he had
butler.
growing up, and then
Yeah.
he dedicated his whole AI to the system to the person that
Yep.
his best friend maybe. growing
basic,
up.
yeah, or like his real, almost like his dad away from
Yeah.
home.
And it's
kinda.
great because in the comics now, Jarvis is a butler. He's
Jarvis is the Avengers butler. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
always been the Avengers butler in the comics. So he's
Yeah.
the fact that they made him human in the movie, I think, was great. But yeah, Tony's scene with his dad and
Also
just
that
the
scene where he-
subtle stuff is really good stuff.
Like, thank you for
Yeah.
your service.
For your service, where he hugs him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you two a question. So we see Iron Man go toe to toe with Thanos with his nano suit, right? In Infinity War.
Yeah.
And in this suit now, it's a little different. I mean, he could channel Thor's energy into a blast.
Yeah.
To me, it felt like he was weaker in this movie with his suit comparatively. I don't know if they did that just because we needed to show the screen time of the big three and then the Cap thing at the end.
Okay.
I just want to get your take on that. Why you think that might have been?
I don't think he was weaker. I think you're fighting Thanos in his pure prime with his own weapon.
Not even that. You're fighting Thanos, who's like,
Who knows what's going to
who
happen?
knows what happened
Yes.
prior, and it goes, you know what? Full destruction mode.
And not only
Like, there's like
he says it too, and he says like, you know what? He's like, I usually go to Worlds, and I just take what I need and leave. He goes, but I'm gonna enjoy this.
This
I'm
isn't
gonna
personal.
kill all of you. This is
This
now
is
personal.
personal. This-
Like you went behind my back. You used my daughter. My
Yeah.
daughter betrayed me.
Yes.
Both daughters betrayed me.
back to
I
yes.
know I win this. I know I'm winning this, and you're making this hard for me to do. You're gonna fight me? No, I'm fucking all you up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
Like now it's personal. Now going to enjoy killing you
this stupid
and
small
everyone you
planet.
love. Like
Speaking
that
of
to
the
me was the
daughters.
greatest
Right.
like evil line of
And also,
the movie.
in Infinity War, he's like, "Don't worry, Stark. Half of the planet will still be alive."
Yes.
There's still some sense of like,
Of respect
Guys,
and,
like-
and
Yeah.
some sense of
They'll
like
remember you.
and I hope they remember you.
Yep.
There's none of that here.
No,
It's
Fair
this
enough,
is
fair
like
I
enough.
want you dead.
I want all of you
Dead.
dead. Get
Because-
out of my way. I have a purpose,
Yes.
and I know what's going to happen, and you're stopping me from getting to that
Yeah.
point. Like,
So also with this, good thing you brought up the daughters because we would have passed this completely. Nebula killing herself.
Family is.
Doesn't that change the timeline completely? And then also,
I was thinking that
Gamora is in our timeline. Does she go back?
So that's interesting.
Or is she here?
That's interesting.
We don't know.
Well,
And that
I
also
feel
messes
like-
up the timeline too. No?
I think Guardians 3 or Asgardians, whatever it's going to be called,
gonna
is
be
going to be the
Guardians
search for Gamora.
Okay.
I think you have to. They're looking for Gamora. They're trying to fix the pieces. I think that Gamora is obviously still in this timeline.
Okay.
I think she is somewhere like she left and is somewhere with Nebula, with current Nebula.
Okay.
And they are trying to figure everything out. And
Current
and-
Nebula died.
Yeah,
No.
Past Nebula died.
Past Nebula.
Which to me was weirder because if you kill your like past self, doesn't mean you don't exist.
That's what I thought.
no, it doesn't change. Remember, it doesn't change.
That's
Because
right.
the
It's a
stones-
divergent timeline. there.
Divergent timeline.
So they create a different timeline.
That's right. Dragon Ball Z rules.
Yes.
So
If you,
I think
if you go hard
Interesting.
enough about
Yeah.
this timeline stuff,
You will go. Nuts.
You will get
you'll go-
lost.
You will get
You'll
lost.
go
You'll go
nuts.
nuts.
Yeah.
But it
that's
works.
fair. You got to
it's
suspend.
fine.
You got to suspend it at some
Disbelief
point.
is
Yes.
fine. It's good.
I think with Nebula, I thought the Nebula thing that they could access didn't matter at the time because it was in there. I thought that was pretty
A
cool.
lot
I
of,
like that.
A lot of Nebula in this film.
Yes.
By the
Good.
way,
Which I thought was necessary because in the book she is key.
well played.
Yes.
They did a well job, and it goes back to the family that you choose, right?
Mm-hmm.
She talks about like the past Nebula is doing this so she can please Thanos.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
so
wants to
she-
This
be.
Yeah.
Nebula is doing this so she can get a life with her sister,
Yes,
right?
and I thought the
Same
best.
family, different
Yeah.
reasons.
I thought the best part was Gamora asking her and saying, "Hey, how are we in your time? Like, what is our relationship?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "We're actually friends. Like, we like each other." And that's all Gamora
And
needed to hear.
Gamora always wanted that.
Yes, didn't know how to get it.
Didn't know how to get it.
So when Tony, to finish up Tony before we get to Evans, when Tony finally got the gauntlet, and then did the snap,
Yes,
and then he's looking at Doctor Strange.
I
By the
am
way,
Iron Man.
But
I
kinda
like in
interesting,
the
he
points
originally
as one.
didn't want to do that.
He did not.
Robert Downey Jr. did not want to do. He had to be convinced to do reshoots to do it, and thank God because that's the greatest.
That is the I am Iron Man line. Once he said that, I already started crying.
because you get Thanos going. Oh fuck! Like he got it again.
Well, the
Like,
fact
shit.
that I knew he got at least one. By the way, Thanos fighting Captain Marvel, taking the stone out and punching her
that was great.
was so cool. They might have a problem with Captain Marvel being a little too powerful.
That's why we're gonna talk about that. We have to talk about.
We
that.
got to talk about that.
I mean,
we
Yeah,
have
that's
to.
a pro- that's gonna be a
That's gonna be a problem.
There you go.
She is like Thanos is prime. He just took down Thor, Cap, and Tony, which I'm getting to, and he's punching.
Thor's
the
fat though,
shit-
so come on.
They're gonna
punching the
have-
shit out of Captain Marvel,
they
and she's
have-
just taking it
they're
to the
gonna-
face.
They're gonna have a.
They got a problem with that. Anyway, but yes, Tony gets the stones after Thanos does this, and it sounds like me just like snapping, and he's like, "Wait, what?"
He pretty as he
And-
says the word I can't pronounce.
Yes,
I'm in.
I'm inevitable.
I'm inevitable.
You can't say inevitable.
I'm not gonna do it.
You gotta try. Try once. Just
No, we're
once.
not doing that.
I
We're
am
not doing that.
inevitable. But like Tony has the stones, and he goes, and I am Iron Man in it, but way slower and amazing, and snaps and takes out Thanos and his entire army. So Thanos knows it. Like he just sits there and waits to be
Yeah, Dustin.
disintegrated.
Yeah.
It was an amazing fuck yeah moment. It was
Screamed.
also.
Cried.
I thought the makeup they did on Robert Downey Jr. to make him look like after the snap was so well done.
Yeah.
Where his eyes are actually full, like they're filling with blood.
Yeah.
He's like legit, like his brain function
Oh, I'm
isn't
tearing up
all
already.
there.
But prior to doing the snap, he looks at Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange can't tell him. He's like, "Hey, this is it. Is this it?" He's just like, he's the only.
There's a
one
lot of
who
things.
can-
Was he pointing up? Was he
He's
saying one?
he's
Was he
he's
saying like yeah?
"This is
Yep.
it."
That's all you got.
Like,
Oh my goodness.
I thought
And-
like the look of the way they made Tony look, where it's like his brain functions kind of
and it's one
messed
of the
up.
better death scenes because death scenes are
Yes.
handled terribly, by the way.
Yes.
When
Most of the time.
Peter came to him,
Yeah.
that's when I even went further into just sobbing and like tearing. I was like,
Look at it's Serge's father.
Mr. Stark, Mr. Stark.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop it, Peter. Go away. I don't want to see you right now.
Right.
Go
Just go
away.
to Pepper. I don't care about Pepper. You
But-
can't do
Just go to
this.
Pepper.
Cut the pepper. Cut the
Well,
pepper.
right. Stark saw Peter go, and then Peter gets to see
Yes.
Stark go.
Oh my
But
god.
then you see Pepper going.
Like,
"It's
you
okay.
can
It's
rest.
okay. You can rest now.
That
We're
had
gonna
me
be
bawling.
fine."
That was-
When she said that.
Which is basically them saying the Marvel Universe, "Thank you.
Yeah,
but
we'll
we're gonna be fine.
We'll be fine.
find a
We
way."
can do this. We can do
Yeah.
this.
Oh.
And I was unconsolably
I'm
crying.
getting emotional right now.
I know
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's hard, but then afterwards, obviously, we get the scene where it's his funeral,
Yeah.
and everyone's there, including that kid who no one recognized, who ended up being the kid from Iron Man 3.
Right.
Which could he held up a sign or something?
Oh yeah.
That was. I was like, who the hell is that?
Like
I completely forgot about the kid.
little turd from Iron Man.
Yeah. Annoying
yeah.
cock from Iron Man 3.
Why was he even there?
Because it was everyone Tony's
yeah.
encountered.
Was that Tony's father at one point? I thought?
No,
I-
he's gone.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was everyone. I thought
They
the
got
scene.
Nick Fury.
They got Nick Fury.
at the
of
end.
course.
The scene that 100% made me cry even harder was Happy
The hamburger.
talking to Morgan, his daughter, and she's like, "You hungry?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "What do you want to eat?" He's like, "Cheeseburgers." He's like, "Your dad liked cheeseburgers. I'm gonna get you all the cheeseburgers you want." I was
I can't look at
I was bawling my eyes out.
It's such a great reference back to Iron Man 1 when he goes back to America.
And he's like, "I want a cheeseburger. I want an American cheeseburger and a press conference."
Yeah.
And I know this is like a little like divergent, but
That's fine.
I love the fact that Happy is in Spider-Man.
Yes.
And that Jon Favreau's character is still kind of like that cohesive, that feeling of familiarity and
Yeah.
family, and that feeling of like, hey, like, you know, just because he's gone doesn't mean everyone's not going to be around. Like, Happy's still here, Happy's still gonna help the kid because that's what Tony would have wanted.
His memory lives on. And
I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an amazing send off.
Moving on.
Yes.
Chris Evans.
Oh, my hero.
So I'm not even going to talk about him fighting himself, how great that was. I'm not even going to talk about him in the elevator saying "Hail Hydra." I lost my
Well,
mind.
that was awesome.
That was awesome.
First of all, that was only done like 4 years ago,
Right.
Yes.
And such in
comics.
and now it's such a
and now it's such a pop culture like
Yeah.
charm. That was for us. That little Halo,
Well,
that was for
it
the
was
comic.
ice
fans.
But
cream.
also that too,
Ice cream.
was a 2-in-1.
It was.
Because that elevator scene.
The elevator scene is
Is
fantastic.
amazing.
It's
Yep.
fantastic.
But when he picked up,
Wait, hold on.
All right, I'm
Hold on.
excited.
The aspect of him looking at Peggy in her
yes,
office.
Yes.
Wait, can we just go by like from beginning to end?
I mean, we can. Yeah.
For his arc?
Because his arc is again, he's first of all the group he does at the beginning.
Right.
Anthony Russo's there in the
Yes.
That was so
group. Did you
good.
notice who else was in the group? Mr. Comic Person.
No.
Jim
I just saw-
Starlin is sitting there in the group. The creator of Thanos and Drax.
It was Jim.
He is in the group.
That's
He's
right.
got the goatee
You're
and the
100%.
glasses. Yes.
You're 100%
And in the
correct.
theater, I'm like, Jim Starlin! And no one else knew.
I
and
just
I'm
saw
like,
Russo.
I hate the world.
When they saw one of the Russo brothers, I was
Yep.
like, Russo. They're like, who? I was like, he made that fucking movie.
First openly gay character in the Marvel Universe, by the way.
Yes, where he talks about, like,
His partner.
I don't know why I was almost afraid of Cap's reaction, because I'm like, he's from the 40s. He's not going to be okay with any of this. Like, gay people, that's not going to be okay for Cap.
I mean, he's okay
You mean your day?
with.
You mean your day?
Yeah.
You mean
Grab your favorite guy and gal.
That guy-
Like, what?
You mean your friend?
Yeah.
Your colleague?
Your best friend, who you are totally
Your
platonic
business
with.
partner. All right, continue.
But no, it starts off with they take down Thanos.
They do.
They do like
His line is, "Let's get this son of a bitch."
let's get this summon.
When he cursed, oh,
It's great.
moist.
But
Moist.
That is like because I don't know what I'm gonna do
If we don't.
if we don't.
And that's the thing. Like,
And-
like,
Then they take him down.
and Cap is someone who's already lost everything twice.
Yeah.
Like, he
lost his
was
life.
frozen in ice.
Yeah.
He lost his life before. He's now, you know, he is tired and sick of this shit too. So they go back, take down Thanos. But I thought the big part of Cap was one, fighting himself,
Right.
which a lot of people didn't like.
I liked it.
Because I loved it.
great.
The whole America's ass line is great. The Hail Hydra, seeing Peggy through the glass and knowing he can't show
to
himself or talk to her, but it also made me laugh too because it reminded me of Jim Halpert in The Office. That
Yeah.
scene where he's just
Yes.
smiling through the
Yeah.
window,
Yes, he's just looking through.
looking through her like that. I thought that was amazingly touching.
But I thought at the beginning when this it's the fact that there's no wars to fight anymore, and he talks about like he tries to look on the bright side. He tries to be positive outside. Right?
100%.
He's trying to be like, relax.
There's wells in Hudson now, right? Look at that. And like Widow's talking about how corny he is.
By the way, how insane is that there would be whales in the Hudson?
That'd be insane.
It makes sense. Well, I haven't killed half the population.
Yeah, we're not killing ourselves, but like that was amazing.
Him trying to console her as
he's still being Captain America,
and like he's trying to help the best way he can.
Yes, the best way he knows he could do, and what he could do with the situation.
But he acknowledges like some people move on and forget,
but not us.
But not us.
It's powerful.
And he drops the whatever it takes line, and I immediately melted. And they go through the time stuff, and again, his scene with Peggy was kind of like the foil to give, obviously, Tony time with his father. And then we get the end. And we get Thanos' ships coming through.
Right.
Yes.
But before we
stop it! You're just a tease. I want to say it.
I want to talk about these scenes.
Right. They're amazing scenes.
Like I want to talk about that elevator scene where he does the
Hail Hydra.
The Hail Hydra and like how
that was great.
That was, and they brought back Sitwell. They brought back Crossbones. They brought back everyone who was legit in that elevator.
Yeah.
And he did the Hail Hydra and got out of it.
They were all like.
And they're like, oh my god, he's one of us. How is he? If he's one of us, okay, we're good.
And Friday's like, I can do this all day. I know.
Yeah. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
I can do this all day. Yeah, I know.
He's tired. He's like, I want to go.
I like the Bucky line. he used on him.
That was nice.
Bucky's alive.
Oh, the Bucky's alive. Bucky's alive. I thought that was cool, and then I thought the aspect of him though in Avengers Tower, Avengers Mansion, whatever you call it now. His small, subtle lines, all meant something to not only this movie but the entirety of what Captain America is, the entirety of what Cap is. He made me like tear up and cry 4 or 5 times in this movie alone.
Yeah, man, because it's so interesting, right? Because we all
besides that he's my favorite.
We all think that that Robert Downey Jr. is the face of the Marvel Universe, but there was a brief moment in time, where Chris Evans was the guy.
Winter Soldier to Civil War.
Civil War, like he was the guy.
I mean, even then,
he was the guy.
When I look at the Marvel Universe, looking back, I still say Robert Downey Jr. is the face, but I see Captain America's the heart.
Right.
Yes.
Especially after this.
And
they say that like you're the heart and soul. Like Tony is the brains and he invented the Avengers. Right. And he is the first one and he's the Godfather.
Right.
Chris Evans is the heart of that team.
Right. And it's such a great job by Evans as an actor because he's playing a character that's so different from himself, right? Yes. And he's playing a character that doesn't
have a range of emotion too. He's very soldier. He's a soldier.
Stoic character. And has become like widely beloved. And the fact that a character as wooden as Captain America has become this popular in pop culture now, right?
Absolutely amazing.
Is amazing. Isn't that really a testament to his acting?
God, can they please do that to Superman? Please.
One day.
Please.
All right.
But anyway, all right.
But I think we should get to the scene where they're fighting Thanos.
Yes. Go ahead, Rob. Say it.
So I think we should go to the big 3. We didn't really touch about.
So that big 3 scene is like maybe 30 seconds long.
Right, but like he said, when Thor says, it's a trap, right?
Yeah.
And they all acknowledge it's a trap.
And they all know they're like,
we got to do it.
We don't have a choice.
And that's such an amazing scene.
It's so great.
Thanos is sitting there waiting for them.
Itself, right?
It also is the part where everyone is under the rubble.
Yeah.
Everyone is demolished and under this rubble, and they're still the guys standing. Yeah. Like they're still here. They're still fighting.
Yeah.
They're still upright. They're still as erect as I am. Like it was all like. It was all amazing. Black bar.
In editing, we need a black bar here.
And they all go. And I love when they go towards Thanos and they break into like direction.
Yeah.
It was like a wolf pack.
Yeah,
it was like
in a different direction.
Yeah, you had one going here, left to right. They were taking them on all sides.
You're thinking Captain America's the weak link on this group.
100%.
He was doing very well.
And no, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
And then he's beating Thor. He's beating Iron Man. And then all of a sudden, man.
All of a sudden, as Thor's about to die, we see Mjolnir come, and I'm like, oh, fuck, he called it. Nope. Captain America picked up the hammer and threw it down. He was going in, banging his shield off it, throwing the shield, throwing the hammer. He was playing boomerangs with himself. Just Thanos is no buddy.
What is that?
That's what he was doing. He was like, here's the hammer. Here's the shield. Thanos, fantastic. Lost my mind. I'm still losing my mind after that scene.
So that scene got huge applause.
I guess.
Oh, right? I think I actually
We were all
stood up
going-
out the seat
I did.
and screamed like yeah with like the fist bump like yeah like I was
Which
like
hand did you fist bump with?
I think both. I think it was like if the Giants for us won the Super Bowl.
Right.
It was
So
like
it's it's very rare where like an artistic medium like gives people a sports-like reaction.
a real life reaction.
Sports-like
I gave my
reaction.
friend a bruise or close to it. I was like,
But the
and they were
music-
like, release
But
me.
when you finally see that happen, because especially
Yes.
they touch upon it in Age of Ultron,
They do.
and people ask why is he worthy now? I think my theory.
Yeah.
My theory.
My theory is he finally lets lets Iron Man know about Bucky killing.
I agree.
Like now
That was the secret he was holding?
Yes.
And now he finally is deed worthy.
Yeah.
And Thor going, I knew it.
I
That
knew
was
it.
great.
That
them
was
fighting
great.
together, throwing the hammers to each other. He's like, oh, I want that one.
He's
I want
like,
the big one.
give me this back.
And even
I thought
that-
the uppercut, like the Thanos, and like the fact that Cap has his shield and is winding up
Yeah.
the hammer. Another thing, he got lightning.
Yeah.
Yes.
He got lightning. It wasn't just like I'm just using a really good weapon. The lightning was there.
Such an amazing. moment.
So he's winding it up like Thor, and he's go. I literally
They
was
built
like,
that up so well.
I didn't even know what to do with myself. I was just
You're
like,
convulsing.
it was like I was getting shot with a machine gun. It was just like I didn't know what to do, and like so that, and then you have Thanos coming back, and he's destroying Cap, and
Destroys
he's
the shield.
destroys his shield, and again, I knew like every movie you have to have it, and that's what got like the
He's
tears
strapped
flowing
up
again.
again.
He stands up and tightens the strap
And
with like blood pouring out of his mouth. He's
then-
beaten to shit.
And then you see Thanos' army just comes in.
And Thanos' army, and it's
This is
oh,
such an amazing.
This is a
picture.
poster.
This is a poster. You see Chris Evans. You see Captain America
By himself.
against thousands and thousands of Thanos.
by
And
himself.
you're thinking to yourself, he's gonna fight. He's gonna try to take them all on, and
And in my head, I'm like,
the reinforcements are not gonna come in time. He's gonna miss it, and then
That was so.
on your
then
left.
you see the signal like.
Then you hear on your left.
Yep.
And I'm like,
And like
I went from like, I don't know if I'm crying or screaming. I was a mess.
this is how good the Russos are.
If fucking snot coming down.
Oh,
your shirt.
everything.
This is how good the directing the Russos are, right? They create this scene, and you're like, "Holy shit, they're coming back! They're coming back!"
Yes.
But not only that, they create fan service.
the fan service tidbits.
So you get to see each person come out from,
Yes.
At a
from
time.
the portal.
Gives you a
and
second to
gives you
enjoy
a
it.
second To enjoy it. And who got the biggest one? Like
Spider-Man got a huge one when he
Oh,
swung
and
through.
My theater as well.
Black
Black Panther
Panther
got a
and
huge
the
one.
army
Yeah, 'cause then-
going
then you
into
brought
the
music
Bombay.
in.
Yeah.
Then you brought
Oh.
the Black Panther, like
got
the
chills
whole
right now.
the tribal music, and that just brought a whole new feel of that
Yeah.
war.
I started
from Infinity
screaming
War.
E Bombay.
Then you saw Wong and the
Yes,
all
all the sorcerers come
Yeah.
out. That was
and then
amazing.
and then the music, and then and then we get the scene we've been waiting for.
And we see the Guardians come back, like Drax and
we
everybody.
get everyone coming back, right?
Yep. And you get
and
the.
then-
And
Flash.
everyone comes back at each other, and then we see Cap at the beginning.
Say,
He goes, Avengers, assemble. And I remember because I'm
I
in the
felt like a
theater,
Muppet. I just lost control of my body. I was like, yes!
That music,
I was like,
The frog over here!
I was,
and he does it subtly. He doesn't have to do like Avengers assemble.
Yeah.
Like that. No.
I literally was on the
Guys,
edge
I
of
don't
my
know how
seat.
much more of this review could take.
I know, right? Because he's up here and he's going like, and he's doing it. I'm like, say it, say it, say it,
Say it, son of a
And the
bitch.
people next to me are just like, like what's wrong with him?
For the last
like, "Say
hour
it!"
of the movie, I was at the front of my seat. My friend's like,
100%.
you're blocking me. I was like, oh, go fuck yourself. I'm watching this.
It was to see that massive
And the
army
music.
versus army and the music clash. That is something literally like you turn a page. That's a splash page in a comic book.
Yeah.
That is like remember when Civil War's fight at the airport was the biggest
Yeah.
superhero fight scene we've ever
Yeah,
seen.
this is biggest.
Holy crap!
How that pales now.
Right into comparison,
So-
like it's just such. So again, Cap fighting without a shield and fighting with just Thor's hammer now
Which is great.
was something I never thought I'd ever see in
Yeah.
like on a screen ever.
Let me ask you guys about that scene we talked about. The female scene.
Mm-hmm.
Where we saw them all coming up.
Right.
For me, I saw that and I was like, that's fantastic. That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
What were your takes? Because I know
Uh,
Chris has a different take than me generally on these kind of things, and I feel like you're more middle ground. Because I did watch a friend who watched it with me. He was very negative. They're like, "Oh, why they do that? Just for the women?" I was like, "All right, you don't need to be like that, man."
All right, Nazi
Jesus.
friend.
All right, you Hydra. I'm not watching the movie with you anymore.
Like Black Widow would have been cool to have Black Widow in that scene.
I do agree.
But-
You needed Black. Like I don't know how you did it without Black Widow because she started
It
it.
kind of sucks that she's not in that scene.
I will say this: is it pandering?
I was
100%.
say,
Is it bad pandering? No.
why do you steal my point, man?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought. Well, so we're on the same page
Yeah,
then.
we're on the same page.
Oh yeah. So like, it's pandering.
This whole movie was pandering.
But what's wrong with the pandering?
No.
Like, what's wrong
Nothing.
with what's wrong? Like, these are movies that are pure testosterone.
Yeah.
Like you were talking male,
Right.
like flex, like it's like Predator when
Right.
Arnold and
Yeah.
they like do the flex
The
arms, and it's like,
yeah.
why are you so big? Like
right.
it's sweaty. Like this is testosterone to the max to have a moment, and it could have been a preview of A-Force. We don't know,
Right.
which is the all-female Avengers
It's
team
also
that's in the books.
Tessa Thompson, by the way, going through the war scene.
Tessa
on her-
Thompson was awesome.
on
a
her
freaking
yeah,
Pegasus.
On a Pegasus.
Oh.
It's amazing.
The Valkyrie.
Great when Valkyrie and Peter were talking for a little bit, and they were like, "Oh, okay, this is happening."
Yeah.
That was cute.
But that was awesome. I thought, again, yes, I thought it was pandering 100%,
But it's
not
fine.
bad pandering.
It was fine.
I was totally okay with it. I thought in the flow of things it was a little odd because it just seemed like to cut, and it was like
They all
it
came
was
at
like
the same
one
time.
was there, and now three, and
Yeah.
now we're adding one at a time.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah.
was a little long for how
And-
fast paced it was.
No offense to Mantis. What are you doing there? What are you coming into this? Were you slapping people with emotions? Come on.
Slap people with emotions.
Go be I wish you had healing powers so you could be a medic. You're weird.
A medic.
I don't know. All right.
I was good with it. What do you think about Cap? His final scene.
Yeah, that's exactly
His
what I want to talk
final
to
scene I thought
you
was
especially I want to know about.
I thought it was 100% full circle for him. It was beautiful. I thought the dancing with Peggy was beautiful.
Yes.
Before that, obviously, so he goes back. He is supposed to put the stones back where they were. I would love to see a movie where he has to go to Vormir and talk to Red Skull. Just
Right.
throwing that out there.
Question for you.
Awkward.
So a lot of people are viewing this in two different ways. When him going back, does he live in alternate timeline?
They say.
Then hold on, let me finish my thing. Does he go back in time? Because he stole extra pin particles we saw. He goes back in time, goes back further, spends it with her, then lives out his life past the events of what happened, then goes back and visits them? Or does he just go back and he stays in that timeline and does not fight while everything's happening?
I think so. I think that's it. I think Cap exists.
Which one?
I think the second one. I think Cap goes back in
Really?
time and there's two Caps. And I think our Captain America is frozen in ice for 70 years.
Okay.
And then wakes up later, and I think Cap goes back and lives his life with Peggy while that Cap's frozen.
So that's interesting because
Your opinion.
the Marcus McFeely had like a.
Yep.
They did.
They did, and they said he goes to a different timeline and comes back.
And then the Russo brothers said the opposite.
Right.
No. Russo brothers said they go to alternate time. Right? Marcus and McFeely say
What I said?
What he
When you said,
says.
okay.
I agree with Marcus and McFeely. They wrote it.
Okay. I agree with the Russo brothers.
You think
Because
it's two?
then they're changing the timeline rules, and Captain America as a character would not be able.
I don't
to
think the
stay
rules
there-
were that
stay there.
set. I think
I
they're
don't
like
think-
Nebula killed her past self. Like, how does she exist? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think the rules.
Timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, different timeline.
But anyway, like, so that
I don't think Cap can sit there and just be with Peggy while World War is happening
So-
and not fight.
I will say that.
So-
But yeah, we'll talk about the Shield scene.
Yeah.
So I will say the Peggy scene, 100% full circle. I loved it. Cried tears of joy. Cap deserves his happy ending.
Yes.
Number 2, the scene where
Wait.
where they bring him back and he's like, he should be back. I don't know what happened. And he's old man Rogers sitting on the bench. And
Did you know right then he was going to give the shoot away?
yes,
I didn't. What's he doing there?
Bucky and Falcon are there. And basically, like, the first part I didn't like about the scene was that, like, it was almost like, no, go ahead, you take it. No, go ahead. Yeah, it's yours. Like, it was no, like, it was just one of those things that was like, oh, it's obvious now. And
I don't think it was him like saying, "Oh, go take the shield." He's like, "Go talk to him."
but that was the symbolism.
Yeah, I know.
That's symbolism.
I know. I understand.
And then I am a huge Captain America fan. I did not like Sam Wilson as Cap in the comics. So when he gives Sam the shield, it was a nice moment. I am against it. It's obviously not a race thing because I'm black and white.
Who you like? Now, kidding.
Falcon, I think the Falcon is a great character. I think the Falcon is a character on his own. I don't think it needs Captain America.
In the Marvel Cinematic
I don't
Universe,
think it does anything.
I disagree with you 100%. I think Falcon needs to step up, and Winter Soldier already has that appeal and that wow factor that he could still be Winter Soldier and people still watch.
So you're
him.
saying Falcon is going to replace Steve Rogers?
Yeah,
and you think he could fill those shoes?
Yeah, I think he can.
You're out of your mind. There's no way he's filling Chris Evans' shoes.
I don't think either of them could fill it. Let me rephrase that.
But again, then why did they do it? Then why did they do it?
Because I think Falcon needs to boost it more so than Bucky.
Then why doesn't he do it as Falcon and boost himself the way every other character does? Every character does the same. Every superhero has the same arc.
Well, you still had to pass down the torch, right?
No, not necessarily.
So
there's not gonna be another Iron Man.
So to put a bow on this, there's been between Iron Man and Captain America, they've been going.
And by the way, technically, Spider-Man could be like the next Iron Man. Like that's his protege. He takes off the mantle without being Iron Man. I understand.
He won't though.
Iron Man has been
Go ahead.
has going from selfish to being selfless.
Yes.
And Steve has been going from selfless to being a selfish in a way, right?
In a way, yeah, to get his own life.
To get his own life, right?
And it's not wrong being selfish sometimes.
No, so like Steve never had a life of his own. He's even prior to being Captain America, he just wanted to serve. He just wanted to help, and that's why he deserved the mantle of Cap. And he's never lived a life really.
His own life, yeah.
He's never lived his own life.
He's always doing something. He always had a
they even
mission.
talked about like, hey, you should date Kristen from Statistics. You'll
Yeah.
like.
He's like, I don't too busy.
Too busy, and like he's long overdue when he kisses Peggy Carter. Now I'm with Sharon Carter. Right?
Yeah.
He's always giving back.
Is that his daughter technically?
No, Divergent Timeline.
Niece.
Well,
I feel like there's a Jon Snow, Daenerys Targaryen thing going on
in
there.
the way you wrote it, he kissed his niece. He kissed his family member.
Yeah.
In the way I'm thinking, it's a Divergent Timeline that's not related to
Now I'm
that.
hoping it's yours.
Yeah, I understand. You like incest. It's okay, Chris.
So,
Only in Game of Thrones.
so
A little bit.
So it's beautiful.
Yeah.
To see how he actually lived. He took time to like, I'm just gonna live a life for myself and end the movie, with his, with the love of his life, right? The one that he couldn't talk to when he's at the window.
Yep.
And,
That was great.
And he finally gets that last dance, right?
He does.
But also that scene, to go back to that scene with Sam Wilson, I think within the Marvel Cinematic Universe it works.
Okay.
I think because he's always gonna believe there's gonna have to be another Cap, and he's always giving back, and he sees a guy, Sam Wilson, on your left,
Yeah.
always giving back, just like him. It's like, there you go, man.
I can see it.
I get it.
They're both passing on the torch.
It's such a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Also, Evans doesn't necessarily. He isn't necessarily done.
No.
Like Cap's been old in the comics many a times and come back and.
Yeah, I mean, like he could be old in the comics, and then he'll be.
Yeah.
They could always make him young again, and be a different actor. I don't think they want to do that.
No.
I think Chris Evans, not Chris Evans. Let me phrase that. Steve Rogers, Captain America. I think he's done in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I do too.
I don't see him coming back until it's like maybe 20, 30 years later, from where in real life, in real time, and then maybe they do something like, oh, they reboot it, or this is a Cap from another world, or something like that. I think doing anything in any sort of amount of recent time is going to bring a dishonor to Captain America, to Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
I understand why you don't like. I mean, especially I read the comics, and I understand why you said that about Falcon becoming Cap.
He was a dick. He was not very nice.
But like with that, I have to agree with that. Like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it works.
Okay.
And we have to. Well, the only way we're really gonna know is when we see him in the movie.
Well, I don't know if they're going to do a movie. I know they're doing a show.
Well,
Him and Bucky. I don't know if they're doing a movie.
That's gonna be
We'll
that's
see.
gonna be very interesting now.
We shall see. I think it's going to be like obviously nothing's going to be the same anymore. Everything's a lot of new characters are going to come forth.
So, are we ready for ratings?
Yeah. Let's rate this bad boy.
You want to go ahead first?
Well, Rob's giving it a 10, so we already know.
10. Yeah, that first scene alone, I can't pick it up. I have to. Give it
Movie shouldn't work. It does.
I agree.
Great conclusion to an amazing 22 movie arc. We're probably gonna look at this as a golden age of Marvel
Oh yeah.
movies.
100%.
I would say I only watched it one time. So
Yeah.
Okay.
first time I watched it was like a 9. Thinking about it now, like 9.5.
I'd agree with you. 9.5. I think the only deductions I could give are, for me, I'd like to see maybe more Hulk.
Okay.
Fight. some of the time stuff is a little confusing.
Yes.
But
time is always
I loved everything. I loved the emotion. I love that I went through every emotion at this movie.
Yes.
Happy, sad, depressed,
anxious,
worried, excited, scared, all of it. Every character had their moment. I thought this is Hawkeye's best movie.
Yes.
Hands down. From the beginning scene through Ronin and at the end where he's like passing around the gauntlet.
Yeah. That whole pass the gauntlet scene was also fun.
Yeah.
I like that kind of stuff.
So yeah, I absolutely loved it. I 9.5. And that wraps up this long episode of Avengers in Endgame. Always be sure to follow us on YouTube and our audio on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Play.
Make sure you follow our social media. Help us grow. If you have any questions, we're always able to reach there. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Jersey Comic Crew, Cruise with a K. Of course, you know that because you are here. And let us know down in the comments below what you thought of the movie, whether you agree with either Chris or myself and Ed about the Black Panther. Wow.
I think we all agreed on Black Panther.
Yeah, we all agreed on Black Panther. On the Captain America decision, who's your favorite character? Who's the standout? Who, fell short for you guys? And we'll see you next time.
As always, JerseyComicCrew.podbean.com.